If it lands on heads, I'm good. If it lands on tails... What is up, homies? My name is Felix and I am here back again with another video for you all today. And today in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys a lot of different ways, a lot of neat, cool little, quirky little ways that you can spice up your beats and your tracks and your compositions, whatever you're making. So I'm going to show you guys a lot of stuff that you can do like after you pretty much finish your beat and just kind of add, you know, the little cherry on top, just those little finishing touches. But I am also going to show you guys a couple things that you can do while you're in the process of making the beat as well. So yeah, honestly, let's just do this thing. Let's have a great time. Make sure you guys go check out my Instagram and my SoundCloud down in the description below, along with the playlist of songs I produced, Beat Store, Discord, all that stuff. You guys already know the drill. And now, let's get into this video. Alright, so here we are inside FL Studio, but everything I'm going to show you applies to whatever DAW you're using. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is a little trick you can do for your intros of your beats. So I have this beat right here that's actually going to be on a little EP/beat tape thing that I'm going to release very soon. It's a pretty cool one. I'll play a little snippet of it. So something you can do in your intros for your beats is to have a little half-speeded drum pattern. And you can use gross beat or halftime or whatever for this, but I think it sounds cool to make a whole new pattern that's just half of the speed of the regular drums. So let's pull up like some kind of acoustic sounding drums here. Alright, so I just made a super simple pattern here. It sounds like this. But if we put this over the little melody that we have in the beginning, it's going to give it a very different vibe, so that when the actual drums drop in, the energy is going to be like twice as much. Alright, so this next thing here is something that I personally think is really cool, and I wish more people did it because it just makes your track so much more alive. And that is adding ambient sounds into your track. So that could mean literally anything. It could be literally highway noise. You could go outside and just press record on your phone. Some common ones are like birds chirping or water sounds, or like, I'm gonna use just like some nighttime ambience because that's like very nostalgic for me. This is totally unrelated to the video, but one of my favorite things to do is just walk around like outside at night, or even sometimes in the day, but at night it's very peaceful because there's nobody else around. You can just walk around, have a moment to think and clear your thoughts. It's very peaceful. So yeah, I'm going to be using some nighttime ambience, and you'll see how much of a difference it makes. It's like a 30-minute long file here, so we're going to be waiting for a while. And literally all we need is like 10 seconds anyway, so... Oh great, it has to load into Edison too. So normally what you want to do here is just assign this to a mixer track or something and then turn it down a bit. And then it starts very abruptly, so maybe what I'll also do is right click and then automate the volume. You know, do one of these. And then once that part comes in, maybe we can just have it fade out again. It's just a subtle little thing, you know? Just super subtle. Nothing crazy, it's not in your face, but it's there. And you can feel it. You can feel it in your heart and in your soul. And then my CPU explodes. So yeah, that's a little trick that you can use also. Do that with whatever kind of ambience you want. It just gives your track a lot more life, because in real life, nothing is ever completely quiet. There's always some sort of background noise, like this clock that's always going next to me. That is like the loudest thing on planet Earth. But yeah, it's never actually truly quiet, so it's nice to be able to replicate that in your music sometimes. Alright, so this trick is actually really cool, but I feel like it's a lot of work for me, so I don't usually do it super often. So it's essentially like a slowdown and then like a speed up into... The way that I do it is with a plugin called Reels. I am sure there's other ways to do it too, even with using stock effects and stuff, but I just like the way Reels sounds. Basically, it sounds like this. You're playing the track, and then it goes, but then, like that. And that sounds super sick. However, there's no way to actually automate this within the Reels plugin, so we have to record it. Essentially, we do that by opening up an Edison. Just hit record, so the Edison's recording, and we're just going to play the track and do the exact same thing that I just did, basically. The thing with this is that it's not always going to be perfect. Because you're doing it manually and there's human error involved in everything, it's going to sound different like pretty much every time. However, we can combat that by doing it again. That was fine. We'll take it. So go into Edison, find the part that you liked. Sometimes I'll just take the part where it speeds up into the regular tempo and not the part where it slows down. Take this, bring it in, and then honestly we can just cut all this out. And now we have this. Pretty cool. well. And while we're on the topic of exporting a certain part of your track to do other things with, let's say we just want to do a little something with this part of the intro right here, and obviously it's exported out already, but let's say this was, had your whole beat laid out and everything. You would just control and select this and then go in here, click this button and then Alt-R, and then it renders that individual part out as an audio clip. Yes, I know there's other ways to do that. This is just the way I like to do it. And now you have this to work with and do whatever you want with. I'm gonna just throw some ideas out there. A couple of things you can do are take it and pitch it down. Very ambient kind of feel. You can also automate some reverb on it. You can put some bit crusher on it and then fade the bit crusher out. You can chop it up. You can whatever you want to do with it. So there's a few other nice things that you can do when you have your whole track exported as an audio file. You can pitch the whole thing up or down a little bit to see how it sounds, and a lot of times it'll sound pretty cool. You can also do some more precise little beat skips this way, because when you do beat skips before you've already exported your track, that still has all the effects and everything playing on it, and some of the instruments still go a little bit longer, so it doesn't really work out perfectly. But when you do it this way, it works out pretty perfectly. For example, you can do a simple little one like this. That sounds so good. It's so clean. There's no residual effects or anything like that. It just goes straight into the cut. Super nice. Another little thing you can do here when you have the whole thing as an audio file is go to the sampler here. And this right here is usually on 2, but if you bring it up to 12, and then you automate this, and then make sure to copy the value here as well, then bring it all the way down, and then bring the copied part here. Pretty cool little tempo automation there that also messes with the pitch as well. And this, I've tried, does not really work well when you don't have the full audio thing exported. So I would say definitely try to do it once you have your whole track pretty much done. All right, so next up here, we're gonna have some stuff you can do while you're actually making your beat. For example, I have this little sample right here. And with the sample, I have one sound in here that actually goes past 8 bars, which sometimes actually sounds really nice if you don't go to the typical 8 bars, 4 bars, 16 bars kind of thing. As you can see, this last note here goes farther than it should. And as you can hear, it just has a very dramatic feel when it continues a little longer. So another little thing you can do is have an entirely different section within your song. So bring in instruments that you had nowhere else in the beat. A lot of times I like to do this with like a chorus or strings or even like a guitar solo sometimes. I did this on the little Honestly Nevermind Drake type beat that I did. At the end of the beat, I put this little orchestra section that sounds like this. And that was nowhere else in the beat. That was only at the end part right there. And that's just a little something that somebody's gonna be like, wow, this guy put a lot of effort into this track. And you don't have to make it a whole new section where you make a whole new drum pattern, add like 15 different instruments, and basically create like a whole new beat just from one section. Like I said, you can do just a guitar solo, you can just do, a chorus sound, whatever you wanna do that'll just make it different from the other section in your beat. That'll pretty much get the job done. So one thing you can do to spice up your tracks while you're making the beat is to just have a pattern that changes up like every so often. Just every 16 bars, 32 bars, or even just totally random throughout the beat. For example, you can see I already started doing it right here. We've got this snare pattern that's pretty consistent throughout the whole thing. Kind of sounds more like a clap, but whatever. And then just right here at the end, I have this little fill kind of thing, and it sounds really good. Kind of lagging a little bit there, but you guys get the point. Another little cheeky little thing you can do is to change the placement of the snares as well. It feels like a crime to do that. And that basically just sounds like this. Look at that. You think it's coming in there, and then your ear's like, whoa, snare is a little bit delayed. Obviously, you can also change the placement of the accent snares. You can change the hi-hat pattern, add another little kick in there, add some 808 rolls, whatever you want to do. Another little thing you guys can add to your beats is from the sponsor of this video, everybody's favorite company, Unison Audio. They've got a new plugin called the Unison Mangler. It's a very simple distortion plugin. There's really nothing crazy about it, but let's just throw it on some bass here. So we've got our bass line here. It's pretty dry sounding, pretty clean. But if we pop in the Unison Mangler on here, this little fella will appear. And if we turn up just the standard mangle knob, it'll give it a lot more bite to it. Sounds pretty good actually, I won't lie. The destroy knob pretty much just makes it sound kind of bad. They have this bite knob here, which is basically just a bit crusher. And this expand thing, which basically just makes it wider, I think. And then there's a gain knob as well, which just brings the volume up. The gain knob actually kind of, I feel like, acts like a subtle little distortion when you turn it all the way up. But yeah, that's the Unison Mangler. You can use it on your bass sounds, whatever you may choose to do. Shout out to Unison for sponsoring this video. The plugin is like $27 right now. So if you are interested in getting it, I would probably recommend getting it now because I don't think that I would pay like $60 for it or whatever. So yeah, link in the description if you do want to go check it out. And now we can get back to this video. All right, so we're pretty much almost done here, but I'm going to give you guys a couple tips about ending your beats. There's one thing you can do that I think is pretty cool, which is to basically just take every sound in your beat and then basically just cut out only the first portion of everything. So just drag like a line all the way down here and then delete all this stuff. And I would go for like less than like a quarter of a bar. It's got to be just the first part of all the sounds. And then if you want to, you can export this. I'm just gonna export it because my CPU, you guys know how it is with the CPU. And now we just have this little ending here. And it has a little bit of reverb on it already, but I would personally probably add a little bit more to this thing. So the other little tip that I'll give you about ending your tracks here is that sometimes what you can do is have like a little kind of like book ending. So when I was in high school, I took animation and cartoon drawing, and he basically described the book ending as like it starts the exact same way as it finishes. So that's kind of what I've called it when making beats because it's a similar thing. So you just have the intro be basically the same as the outro so that when somebody finishes playing the song, it leads right back into the beginning. And this is really good for people who just click on a song and it plays on repeat. If your song sounds really good and it doesn't get repetitive and it doesn't get boring, it's basically just going to keep replaying over and over until the person's like, wow, I just listened to the song 5 times. So that's a neat little trick that you can do that's also pretty practical because people will listen to your track a little bit more. But yeah, honestly, that is pretty much going to do it for me in this video here today. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video here today. If you guys have any cool little neat ways to spice up your tracks, leave them down in the comments below because I'm always looking for cool new ways to make my beats better, and I'm sure everybody else is too. But yeah, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys go check out my Instagram and my SoundCloud down in the description below, along with the playlist of songs I produced, Beat Store, Discord, all that stuff. Go check it out if you'd like to do so. Also, make sure you guys be on the lookout for that little beat tape EP thing if you like the beats that I played here in this video today. And of course, be on the lookout for that funk kit that I'm going to be dropping pretty soon. But yeah, I love you guys. You guys are awesome, and I will see you all next time.
Baby, come follow me. We could go somewhere far